Have you found yourself in a place where your doctor won't prescribe hormone replacement and you're wondering what to do? Well, keep watching and I'll help you understand your options as you navigate your menopause journey. Hi, friends. I'm Peggy with Hormone Therapy Hub. I help women like you find online telehealth companies and doctors that provide hormone replacement therapy. Be sure to see my Hormone Therapy Hub website for reviews of the most popular online providers. Okay, so what are your options if your normal doctor isn't in agreement with your choice to go on HRT? So you've done all the homework, right? All the research, and you've made the decision that you want to try HRT, only to learn that your GP or your GYN isn't supportive and refuses to prescribe it. You are not alone, sadly. I get at least one message per day from women indicating that their GYN wouldn't write them a prescription, and so now they feel lost. Or worse, they're second guessing if HRT is for them, and should they even try it? I get it. We are all obedient patients, right? We go to our GYN every year for our annual checkup, just like they suggest. Then when the time comes that you can't handle the hot flashes, the night sweats, the mood swings, and the weight gain any longer, you finally strike up the nerve to bring up the conversation at your annual appointment. And that's when your trusted doctor says to you, oh, it's just what happens at your age and it won't last forever. What? That can't be the answer. If you're like me, as I've gotten older and wiser, I realize that our trusted medical partners are also mere mortals who they mean well. They want to do the right thing, but they are not perfect. And sometimes we find ourselves on opposite sides of an argument. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay to not agree with your doctor and to seek help elsewhere. That's what many other menopausal women are doing today. And that's why I created the Hormone Therapy Hub website and trusted provider page. So I started HRT back in 2019. The night sweats, the weight gain, and the moodiness were more than I could bear. I didn't like myself or anyone else for that matter. I didn't feel like me, and the excess weight was really eating away at my self-esteem. Fortunately for me, I found a GP doctor who specialized in weight loss, and he also believed in prescribed HRT. His preferred formulation came from a compound pharmacy rather than a traditional pharmacy, which meant I was paying for it out of pocket to the tune of about $75 per month. His office was 45 minutes away from my home, and after realizing the ease of telehealth during COVID, the thought of getting dressed, driving to his office, sitting in the waiting room only to have 8 minutes of his precious time started to seem ridiculous. Be sure to see the list of trusted providers to check out online telehealth HRT providers and doctors in my website. So once I came to the decision that I no longer wanted to drive to my doctor's office, I began a quest to see if there were any online options for HRT. And to my delight, there were several. It's been my mission over the past 14 months to shop and test online HRT providers. As I've continued to build out my Hormone Therapy Hub website, I've become a patient of Winona, Alloy, Midi Health, Joy Women's Wellness, and MyMenopauseRx. In all cases, you do need a prescription for hormone replacement therapy, and depending on how the provider and the doctor have their practice set up, the prescriptions may come from a compounding pharmacy or they may come from a traditional neighborhood pharmacy. So Winona, Alloy, and Joy Women's Wellness all work closely with compound pharmacies for filling prescriptions. Midi Health and MyMenopauseRx take medical insurance, and you can use your prescription insurance to cover the cost of the meds. Each of the 5 have a different business model, so see that trusted provider page on my website to get the scoop on all 5 providers. So here is what you need to understand when it comes to insurance and HRT. If a doctor or a practice is providing the HRT directly to you, meaning they're shipping the meds directly to your home, then you are likely getting your meds from a compound pharmacy, and they may or may not be making a bit of a profit from that purchase as the middleman between you and the compounding pharmacy. Compounding pharmacies have a place in our healthcare system, specifically when a patient has a need for a drug that needs to be customized. For example, if you are allergic to gluten and you need to take a drug that has gluten in it, then a compound pharmacy can hand make that drug for you minus the gluten. They can also step in when a customized dose or formula needs to be administered to you as the patient. So HRT comes in several formulations and dosages. Some have been approved by the FDA and some have not. If your provider or doctor prefers a formulation or a dosage that isn't FDA approved, then it must come from a compounding pharmacy. Compound versions, in many cases, are not FDA approved and will not be covered by prescription insurance. What is the norm with HRT is that the ingredients are FDA approved. However, if you are being prescribed a dose or a formulation that isn't FDA approved, then it will likely come from a compound pharmacy and therefore not be covered by your prescription insurance. Prescription insurance will only cover HRT formulations and dosages that have been approved by the FDA. Custom doses or formulations are typically not covered. In my case, for whatever reason, my first HRT doctor, he preferred the compound version. And at the time, I didn't really understand the role of a compound pharmacy or that there were FDA approved meds that I could have been taking and using my prescription insurance. It would have probably cost me about 1/2 of what I was paying for the compound version. So over the years, I've been on creams, troches, pills, patches, and injections. And currently my regimen is a 0.050 estradiol patch, and then 200 milligram tablet of progesterone, and then a 25 milligram tablet of DHEA, which I take in the morning. I've discovered that I do best with the estrogen patch over the cream, and I take my progesterone tablets at night because they help me sleep. I've used estrogen creams in the past, but they didn't seem to absorb as well for me. I've also taken troches, which melt under your tongue, but after some in-depth research, I wanted to get my estrogen transdermally, which means through your skin. And that's when I started experimenting with the cream and then finally landed on the patch being my preferred option. In searching for a provider who prescribes FDA-approved HRT that can be picked up at your local pharmacy, it requires finding a doctor or a GYN who knows what formulations and doses have been approved by the FDA. So there are two companies that do this really well, Midi Health and MyMenopauseRx. Both take medical insurance and will call in prescriptions to your local pharmacy. So Midi Health charges $250 for an initial 30-minute consultation. MyMenopauseRx has a self-pay discount option that's $99 for a 20-minute appointment. If your insurance is in the Midi Health network of providers, your appointment or a portion of it might be covered. Same with MyMenopauseRx. But in my case, they didn't take my insurance, so I had to pay out of pocket. You can reach out to either of these two providers, Midi Health or MyMenopauseRx, to confirm if they take your medical insurance. Once the provider of your choice has called in your medications, you also need to download the GoodRx app on your phone, and here's why. You'll want to compare the cost of the prescription using your insurance, comparing that to using a GoodRx coupon. Sometimes I use my insurance, and sometimes I find the GoodRx coupon is a better deal. It makes no sense to me that the costs vary from one quarter to the next, but they do, and each time I must do a little bit of research to see which is the most affordable option. Be sure to see my video on my out-of-pocket costs when using prescription compared to a GoodRx coupon. I'll put the link in the description below. Okay, so now let's talk about bioidentical HRT. So technically, bioidentical is a marketing gimmick to make us think that it's better or more natural than the versions that have been around for decades. But it's the ingredients that make it bioidentical or not. For example, estradiol is one form of estrogen and is considered bioidentical. You can get it as a cream, a patch, or a pill. Progesterone is also considered bioidentical, and it comes in a pill or a cream. Both estradiol and progesterone have been FDA approved and are referred to as bioidentical. Some come from a compound pharmacy, and others, the ones whose formulation and dosage has been approved by the FDA, can be picked up at your local pharmacy. Also meaning your insurance would likely cover the cost. So don't let the term bioidentical confuse you. If what you are being prescribed or what you are taking is estradiol and progesterone, regardless of the formulation or the dose, it is considered bioidentical. It may or may not be FDA approved, depending on the formulation and the dose that you're being prescribed. That's exactly why I created this website, to help you navigate your options when you have to step outside your relationship with your normal GYN. Sure, it's disappointing that we are not on the same page, but unfortunately, when it comes to HRT, that's the case for many women. OBGYNs are trained to be surgeons. That's their primary focus. They deliver babies and they save babies. They are not taught in med school much about hormones at all, and they certainly aren't taught much about perimenopause or menopause. Some have taken the time to educate themselves so they can help us, but others tend to shy away from it. If your doctor isn't being supportive of you wanting to have a conversation around going on HRT, then consider one of the trusted providers that I've vetted in the past year or so. They offer online telehealth options to make it easy and simple to get started. Be sure to see the link for my website on the information on the most popular online providers in the link in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.